Hey, how are you? This is Timber Dalton, Leslie Richardson. It's Monday, sort of. This is my usual coffee mug, my Stitch mug. Doing a live video. As you can see, I'm just woke up not too terrible long ago, working on my first cup of coffee. So I've been doing some preparations. I'm not a prepper, but apparently the GOP's fuckery of not being able to handle a pandemic accurately has turned me into a prepper. I never thought I would be one before, but apparently now I am. So just some of the food that I've accumulated. And keep in mind, I'm used to doing a hurricane kit every year. So it's not like this is unheard of for me, but usually we don't need it except between, June and November. So I have actually accumulated some things, and this has been over several weeks, not just like I went out and bought all this in one shot. So this has been over the past, 3 weeks or something, however long. Anyway, so here's some of what I have. I went to Target and got the tubs that have the little gaskets in them to help keep bugs out. So this is, yes, in my living room. So these are some of the extras of stuff I have. So I have, I've probably got the better part of 2.5, 3 months worth of food, just in case. I mean, the last couple of weeks would be nothing but beans and rice, but hey, that's better than starving. And then, because I have a very small house and a very small kitchen, here's some of my pantry stuff. And then we've got stuff in this little cabinet here too. And then we have, this is our main shelf. But again, keep in mind, I have a very small house with only one fucking closet. So, and then I've got, that's storage, but I've got 2 cans of chickpeas there that I keep meaning to make into hummus, and I keep forgetting. So anyway, so how y'all doing? Are you all hanging in there? I know this is not fun times. Making me another cup of coffee while we're talking here. Hold on just a second. Let me guzzle the rest of those down. Oh. Good morning, everybody. Katrina, Shirley, Barb. I think I saw Shirley earlier. Hey. Anybody I missed? Sorry. Because I wasn't reading the comments while I was doing this. Adrian, Dolly, Jackie. Hello. Yeah. So, we're hanging in there. Go. Coffee's brewing. Yay, courage. So I'm going to do some more better posts where I'm actually put together and stuff. One of the things also that we have here in our house is we've got the fridge. I'm trying to see this fridge, but we got a little chest freezer. So the chest freezer actually is dual purpose because I use it as a counter space because I have hardly any counter space. So we've been making meals. I made a huge pot of pasta, macaroni and cheese the other day. Well, it's not really macaroni and cheese, but it's macaroni with pasta sauce and stuff in it. But we freeze sections, servings of it, and we date it. And then that way, and I've been doing this with crock pot meals and stuff and everything, because if one of us doesn't feel good or something, we'll be able to just grab. Last night I made biscuits because I was trying out 2 different let me see if I can get the camera down here where you can actually see what I'm doing. Buttermilk biscuits. I stuck them in here last night so I could let them cool down before I start sealing them out. I'm going to individually freeze sections of them in the freezer so we can just pop them out and nuke them. These here are better than these here. They're both edible and good, but I posted on my Instagram feed too last night about it. The flakier ones are better because you got to roll them out several times. It's a little extra step, which is kind of a pain in the butt, but better biscuits. So yay! Considering I usually just do Bisquick biscuits, drop biscuits. This was something new for me. A lot of new things I've been doing in the pandemic. A lot more. Been doing a lot of cooking. The running joke around here is, do you know how to cook? Yes, and hi Madison. Hey Phoebe. Hi Siv. Hi Julia. Adrian. Hey Adrian. Everybody wave to Adrian. He's in Australia. So yeah, I've been doing a lot more cooking than I usually do because hubby is great at following recipes and stuff. But I was raised, and I never realized it was struggle cooking when I was growing up because my parents and grandparents did a great job of I had no idea I thought we were just, average middle class, until I got to high school and realized, no, we don't really have a lot of money. And the other thing is I realized too that, so the house that we're in right now was my grandparents' house. And when my grandfather died in 2011, he left it to me. And I was pretty much raised here. It was built in 1950, right around in there. And it was old Jim Walters kit home. And, putting milk in my coffee. And he built it by hand. Like if you're familiar with the old Sears and Roebuck's kit homes, it's basically like that. He built it by hand completely. So it's a small house. And he added a living room onto it. I remember when I was a kid, like in the 70s. I remember him building it out. So very small house, not a lot of room, but it's part of a larger property they bought from Granny's sister and brother-in-law, Aunt Iva and Uncle Johnny, who owned right next door. So this was like the corner piece of the much larger property. And Uncle Johnny's, and it's like, let me see, actually let me switch, can I switch the camera view? There we go, haha, technology. So this is my backyard. So you can see over next door is a plant nursery. Oh, it's great to see you too, Adrian. Hey Sherry, hey Ari, hey Debbie, hey Julia. So you can see there's like a plant nursery there. Well, that whole area back there used to be, when I was growing up, orange groves. Let me switch the camera back. It was orange grove because Aunt Iva and Uncle Johnny had a big orange grove. Well, Uncle Johnny, also in the very back of that property, we called it the pond. It's like a little bit of cypress swamp. And there was a good, probably, I don't know, 20, 30, 40 yards with swath between the end of the grove and the start of the pond, where he would grow a garden every year. He would grow everything. I'm talking okra, squash, black-eyed peas, collard greens, mustard greens. He always had stuff, and we always got stuff. We always had veggies. They never had a problem with me eating vegetables growing up as a kid. I can't do spicy stuff, but I eat the hell out of my vegetables. And would you guys stop fighting? Good Lord. Life with cats, sorry. And so it wasn't until like literally a week and a half, 2 weeks ago that I realized Uncle Johnny was a child of the Depression. And so I understood then why, that's why he always grew so much food. Because I always thought, what? Because it's not like he had like a farm stand or anything. I mean, yeah, people came in and picked the grove every year. And he sold the oranges and stuff to the pickers. But he never like had a farm stand or anything where he like sold the extra food, just like came to us. It was like he gave it all to family. And now I understand why. It was his, it was his garden because of the food, food insecurity from when he was growing up. And so the thing is, it's like I was having a massive anxiety period here a couple of weeks ago, as I'd kind of been watching everything in China. And I'm not saying I'm like prescient or anything, but hurricane season is from June 1st to November 30th here. And so every year we do a hurricane kit. And being a native Floridian, I've learned you don't put shit in your hurricane kit that you don't normally eat. So what we do every year is I start building up, usually around end of April. Early May is when I start building it up. I don't usually build it up this early. And I usually build it up. So we've got about 4 to 6 weeks of food. Again, it wouldn't be necessarily fun food. It'd be towards the end, it would be like beans and rice, flavored beans and rice, but it would be food. And I was like, I just started, I started adding things in. Like I bought an extra bag of rice here one time. I buy a couple of bags of beans and stuff. And so I've been adding to that. And then, so I already had a good, 4 to 6 weeks of food on hand when the massive shit started hitting the fan. I actually went 2-3 weeks ago to see, time just blends together right now. I went and actually made a couple of Publix runs and Winn-Dixie runs and stuff as it really started getting bad, and I started getting extra bags of beans and flour and stuff. And I didn't get bottles of rubbing alcohol, which now I'm kicking myself in the ass for, because I was like, fuck. That was something I didn't think would, disappear. And I didn't think about toilet paper at the time either. We are now stocked up on toilet paper. I did actually manage to snag another couple of packages here and there over the past. So we've got about 3 weeks of toilet paper at least. So then I was on the phone with my mother, who was like, oh no, all these people stop panic buying in a couple of days. They'll run out by next week. They'll run out of money or run out of space to put it in. They're like, I don't think so. So then my anxiety was like, because now I'm thinking, oh shit, I'm going to have to feed both me and hubby and my parents because my mother's not taking this seriously. Fortunately, they finally did start taking it seriously last week. Hey, Rhonda. Hi, Taylor. Hi, Julia. We never canned. That was one thing my grandmother never did. We would freeze stuff, but we never did canning. So that's one thing I do want to actually teach myself how to do, is how to do canning and preserves. Not right now. I'm brain dead right now. So anyway, so as the whole point as I, was going around to that is that I was having massive fucking anxiety. And so I started, stocking up more on like, more rice, more beans. I'd grab, I wouldn't like go, because actually they've got limits now, but even back then before the limits, I would grab like, 2 or 3 packets. I wouldn't like grab like 20 packets of beans. I was being reasonable about it. I'd add like extra cans of stuff. So right now we've got, I don't know, we probably have at least 6 to 8 weeks worth of food, I think, at least, if not more, probably more than that. If I spread it out good enough, I'd grab like an extra package of bacon, or, there would be a BOGO on meats and stuff like that. Cause we have the chest freezer, yay, to store stuff in. So what I'm doing now is I'm starting to cook through stuff, especially the older stuff that's in the freezer, older meats that have been in there. So hubby is great with the rest. Circling back around to that, for those of you who are still following me, who, he's great with recipes and stuff, but he's never learned, like, I can look at what I've got and I can go, okay, bing, 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 there's my food for whatever it is I'm cooking. And he hasn't learned that skill. He had really not done a lot of cooking before he retired, and then he took over doing the cooking and stuff. So he didn't grow up learning that skill, going, okay, I've got this is, here's a meat, here's a starch, here's a protein, or here's a, veggie, boom, crock pot soup. He that meme about, never underestimate a woman with a slow cooker and a can of cream of something soup. That's me. You give me a can of cream of anything and I can make you something out of it. Hey, Erica. So he's learning that skill now. I'm teaching him that. So we're making things, and then freezing portions of them so that we have them for later. So like I said, if one of us, God is forbid, knock on wood, one of us gets sick, we've got food ready to go, just nuke it and boom, you got food. Or if I need to take food over to my parents or something, because they're just 5 minutes from us, then I've got plenty of food that I can, prepared food, I can just drop it in a bag and go hang it on their fence and go, here, love you, bye, and wave and step back from it, and they've got food. So I don't have to worry about them. So my anxiety levels about that, at least, have really dropped, yay. Because I managed to, I got us to a point where now I feel food secure, because as the shit started really hitting the fan and getting worse and worse, I was like, fuck. And then when my mom's like, oh yeah, I don't have that. So for me, because even though we never starved growing up. I mean, like I said, my sister and I were unaware that we, weren't, we were in the lower middle class to, upper low class, or whatever you want to call it. We didn't have cable growing up. We lived out in the boondocks too. So I just thought that was part of, because we grew up in the middle of the country, right? What back then was country. Now it's like suburbs of Tampa. But back then it was, you came from Odessa. So we were looked down on because we were poor. And I was like, I never had thought of ourselves as that way before until I was in high school. So, yeah, so now, so my anxiety levels are definitely at a more manageable level now that I have food security. And I've learned also now, I've quickly learned, like, we've got a Winn-Dixie close to us. I prefer Publix, but now I know when I can, Publix has been getting trucks all throughout the day. So it's like, and there's 2 different Publixes within close distance. So if I can hit one, chances are I can find what I need, unless it's, alcohol, toilet paper, wipes, whatever. But why are you, hold on. Why are you on the freezer? Uno, why are you on the freezer? Get down. Get down. Down. Thank you. So life with cats. I love the furry little bastards. they're my babies. But Uno, she looks innocent, but she's the psycho one. If you caught hubby's Facebook Live like last week or whenever it was, she was like climbing all over him. He was trying to do a Facebook Live and she's like all over him, like, love me now, daddy, love me now. So anyway, yeah, so that helped my anxiety a lot, knowing that if worse came to worse, I could feed us. And the other reason I was decided to make 2 batches of buttermilk biscuits last night too is also because I've got 2 containers of buttermilk I need to get used up, because I meant to do some more Irish soda bread and stuff that uses that. And this is allergies, by the way. I'm not sick. It finally rained last night, but I mean, every day my element has been like covered with yellow dust because we're surrounded. We've got oak trees and pine trees and all this stuff around here. The podocarpus are blooming. Everything's blooming right now, or trying to. And I'm just like been having allergies. So I've got this TMI alert here. If I take the allergy meds, it constipates me. So it's like, do I want to not look plaguey, or do I want to be able to poop? Yeah, the struggle is real. So yeah. So anyway, so that's, right now I'm just waiting. I put some of my Young Living Breathe Right, Breathe Easy, whatever it is, the rollerball oil on. That helps. It's got eucalyptus and stuff in it, so that helps. So that's my morning congestion. So I'm not sick. I'm fine. So anyway, yeah, so we've got food. So I hope you guys are all doing okay. Hey, Katrina. Yeah, make and do is something, and that's how we were raised. Though my grandparents were children of the Depression, obviously, and our parents were raised by parents who went through the Depression. So we learned a lot of different. The funny thing is, I was joking the other day. It's like I was actually stood there looking at this plastic zip top bag. Hey, Sir Lisa. I stood there looking at this plastic zip top bag, going, should I rinse this out and save it? I was like, I don't think I'm that bad yet. But give me, oh yeah, I've got coffee. I've got coffee. I am not running out of coffee. But yeah, it's like give me a few more months and like you'd be opening my fridge and it'll be like 20 different butter containers in there, but only one contains butter. Right? That kind of thing. It's like, may the odds be ever in your favor. Because that was the running joke. We'd come over here for Granny's for dinner. She's like, oh, it's in the whatever. It's in the fridge. Just go grab it. It's in a butter container. And there's like 20 butter containers. And there's like, which one? You gotta play musical butter containers. But I'm not that bad yet. Actually, anything like that, I'll be saving for doing like starters for container gardening. Because I've actually got I did buy some seeds. I'm going to get some beans and tomatoes and things like that started. Which is fucking cold. Yesterday, hubby actually, the first time he'd been out of the house, like literally in like almost 4 weeks. I let him ride around with me while I ran errands because I had to go get one of my, hey Dewey, what are you chewing on yourself for there, dude? Stop. I had to go get one of my supplements I was almost out of. And I ran to Target. Because I got another storage container, had to hit Publix, hit Walgreens, get another different supplement that we both take. And so he rode with me. He didn't get out of the car. He just stayed in the car while I ran the errands. So he could actually get out of the freaking house. It was cold and rainy. I'm like, what? This is Florida in fucking April. What the fuck is this bullshit? This is like, this is winter weather. We're past winter weather. Yeah, always just, yeah. Well, I used to do that years ago. I do actually have plastic storage containers. I actually have some of Granny's old Tupperware too, which actually is still surprisingly good. So yeah, but the adventures in biscuit making. So now I think I in the biscuit recipe I found, I downloaded it from the internet because I tried one of the biscuit recipes I tried was a Betty Crocker biscuit, and it was the red plaid traditional cookbook. So this is the one from yesterday. It's Grandma's Flaky Buttermilk Biscuits, and I'll have to post the link. I'll have to go back in because I bookmarked it. But I think the only thing I'm going to tweak on that one is how much flour. I think I need to cut down just a little bit less flour or a little bit more buttermilk. Debbie, way to get to leave the house. Yeah, no, I'm actually the one that does the errands because remember, hubby is 70. He just turned 70 in February, and I'm going to be 49. Yeah, I'll be 49 in May. So I'm the one doing the errand. I'm not letting him out of the house. So we've got the exact opposite. He does not get to go run errands, because I don't want to risk him getting this. So that's basically the only places I'm going is when I have to go run errands or go visit the Viking, because the Viking works from home too. And he's only been, home and going to the store. That's it. So we're lucky that we're in a position neither of us are, getting unduly exposed to anything. So that's nice. So it's a nice, otherwise, he basically gets no socialization whatsoever. Anyway, so Dewey, what are you doing, son? I swear this cat is weird. Yeah, we've got Uno, Dewey, and Trey. We've got Grimmy, and we've got Luna. And then Luna's 3 kittens were Uno, Dewey, and Trey. So we call them Luna and the cockroaches because they're all, Uno's a tuxedo, but the rest of them are mostly black. So it's like I'd hear a noise in the kitchen, I'd flip the light on, and all 4 of them would, would look up at me, and then there's like these black cats just scattering like cockroaches. So it was Luna and the cockroaches. So that's their nickname. Thanks, Adrian. Yeah, that was back in February. They had his birthday. So yeah, it's been interesting. Other than the fact that, I'm worried about, making sure I'm very, very careful when I go out and run errands and groceries. I use hand sanitizer religiously because I do have some of that on hand. Yay. And I wipe down carts and stuff. I actually have my own wipes, so I take a wipe in with me and wipe the cart down myself, so I know it's been wiped down. If I have to use Una Dewey and Trey, because I was like, I'm a writer, but for some reason, I just totally brain farted. I mean, it's like, we're just kind of, 1, 2, 3, Una Dewey Trey. I mean, we don't spell it like the Italian, but that's basically what Una Dewey Trey. That's basically what happened with that. So yeah, where was I going with that story? I don't remember. Oh yeah, I mean, I'm used to being home all the time, so it's been interesting. Other than like, not going over to the club, which has been kind of weird. But but I've been doing a lot more cooking than I normally do, which has also been kind of strange. And so I've been joking with my son. I'm like, see, mom can cook. He's like, no, I know you can cook, mom. It's like, yeah, but you're kind of little, but, and I just didn't know if you remembered that I could cook. But yeah, I can cook. So hubby's learning how to do pantry shopping now from cooking, because I had never really thought that he needed to know that skill. I just assumed that was something everybody knew how to do, and I guess he didn't. And there were times it's like he'd have to, he'd go, I've got to go to Publix to do something for dinner. And I'm thinking, well, we've got like a freezer full of food, but I was on deadline or something. I'm like, okay, whatever, you're dealing with it. Yeah, fine, whatever, go. And now I understand this because he didn't know. So I've been trying to teach him those kind of things so he can look and say, okay, I got a protein, I got a starch, I got a veggie, boom, crock pot soup. So, because I'm a lazy Taurus. I'm not lazy. I like to work smart, not hard. Like to think outside the box. So, to reduce my effort. So it's like the running joke is like before, when he'd go to Ohio to visit family. Hey, Kathy. I would put in a thing of lentils, in the crock pot. I do lentils and green beans or whatever I had on hand, whatever meat I had on hand, and let it cook all day. And then I'd throw some, what was it, barley? I always say the wrong thing. This is the barley, pearl barley, on top of it, towards the end of cooking, because it just swells up really big and it'll suck up a lot of the liquid. And then I usually do like Bisquick dumplings, drop dumplings on top of it, and then close it up and let it sit for, another half hour or so to cook the dumplings. And I'd eat that for a week while he was gone, right? So I could literally just sit there and eat that for a week. Soup so, hearty you could literally stick a fork in. So technically, I guess that's not soup at that point, but whatever. So I'm used in when we were, we first got together, and then when I was with my ex-husband too, Joey's father. I mean, I could feed us for, a week on $20 or longer, which was an incredible feat considering my ex could plow through a lot of food. So he's a big guy and could eat a lot of food. So I was used to feeding, or cooking, I should say, great quantities of food on very little money. It might not necessarily be the healthiest food, but again, calories in the belly. So I know that I've got the things on hand now that I can cook if I need to towards the end. So, and I can stretch things out. I know how, I've got enough soup and bouillon and dried packages of like the Lipton, golden onion soup and stuff to flavor things. I've got quite a bit of ground beef. I bought a couple of the big packs of ground beef from Publix and split them up into smaller 1 pound, packages and stuff. So I know how to hit the buys that way. I was thinking about getting up, this morning. I've been up for a little bit now, not too long, but I was thinking about going to Winn-Dixie today to see if they had any discounted meat, in the case. And I'm like, I am too fucking tired. After yesterday's errands, I'm like, no, I'm just going to go sit and write. What is that? Is that Sheldon? Oh, Sheldon's out. Sheldon the tortoise. So you guys want proof of life of Sheldon? Sheldon! So Sheldon gets to roam the whole living room. And here's what Sheldon's doing right now. Hi, Sheldon! He'll do this for a little while, and then he'll turn around and go do something else. Sheldon, say hi to your fans. Say hi to your fans. Hi! Want to say hi to everybody, Sheldon? Sheldon! He's like, leave me alone. Leave me alone. He does that. He'll sit there and do it. Because I've got the extension cord is for the heater we've got plugged in here out in the living room. because it's chilly, because I have to have the heater on for Margarita, because Margarita's, how old is Margarita? She's a Quaker. Joey's going to be 25. So she's about 27, 28. I don't remember exactly which year I got her, but so and I've had her since she was I was still hand feeding her when I got her. I had to hand feed her for a couple of weeks. So she's old. She's older than my son. So I have to be very careful to keep her from getting chills or anything like that. So she always gets her own space heater in the living room whenever we have a chilly morning or something. So I got to protect her from drafts and stuff. Yeah, Sheldon's social distancing. Oh, Sheldon's fine. Yeah, he's fine. No, he does that. He gets out. No, he knows that goes outside. I'm like, you're not going outside, son. He'll do that. He's like, I want outside, because he knows that's where I said. So pretty soon he'll get tired of swimming right there at the door, and then he'll turn around and he'll go wander somewhere else in the living room and get himself wedged or hid or something, and then we have to play hide and seek, and he's like, hide and seek champion, motherfuckers, because that's Sheldon. That's Sheldon. Everybody has a personality around here, and everybody gets a voice. So Sheldon is like, let me out, motherfuckers, let me out. I'm going to run and hide from you, motherfuckers. That's Sheldon's personality voice, because he's got a personality. So yeah, he like go hide, and is like, Warren's trying to fight him. I'll be sitting there on the couch working. I'm like, do you want help? And he's like, no. And I'm like, I am the hide and seek champion, motherfucker. You cannot find me. Ha 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 ha. Oh, Warren's looking for him. He's got a few favorite hiding spots that he likes to go sit in. We always check those first to make sure he hasn't, because he's got his little container that it's his habitat that we put him in at night, or if we're not home. But he gets to free range the living room during the day, because he usually can't get up the step unless the ramps are in place for Joey. And then the one day he did actually, surprises, Warren comes in and he's like, why is he in the kitchen? I'm like, I don't know. And he must have climbed up there, because they can climb, which a lot of people don't realize. Tortoises can actually kind of climb a little bit. So if he's got just the right positioning, he can just, scale things. He did that to us one time. We had a pile of boxes. I was getting, I think it was either before or after Shameless. I was getting ready for stuff, and he had gotten up the pile of boxes and into one of the boxes. We spent the better part of an hour looking for him before I finally looked. I heard this noise, and I looked down, and there he is inside the box. I was like, you little bastard. So now we always know, if we can't find him immediately, if there's anything he could like be in. Hey, Lucille. Then we always, hey, Jennifer. Hey, Holly. Hey, Lisa. Hey, Julie. Yeah. So Sheldon has a personality. So, yeah, I don't know where Kiwi is. I'd give you a Kiwi, or I think she went and hid. She's hiding somewhere. Yeah. So anyway, so that's our house. So, and what we're going to do. Oh, let me circle back to what I didn't finish my thought before. With the hurricane kit every year, what we have towards, the end of, going into November and stuff, the extras, what we usually do is we donate them to, when the Postal Service always does the food collection drive, is we'll put extra that we have left over in that. So anything everything I bought, usually stuff that we're going to use. So if I do have anything again come that time of year, then that gets donated to a food pantry. That way it doesn't go bad. It doesn't, not get used. And the other thing I've done too with our canned food, let me flip the camera around again. So this time, I don't usually do this, but I did this time because we got so much. We went through and we wrote in marker on the tops of the cans so we could see it easily. And some of them we actually did it on the front because it's harder to see. So we did the date on the front. We did the month and year expiration date. So that way, and we cycled everything. We've got it fronted and faced so that we can see the expiration dates on stuff. And that way Sheldon needs a bell on it. Well, we know he can't get out of the house, so he's usually here somewhere. We can find him. So everything's got a date written on the lid or on the front where we can see it easier. And then we did that on the dry goods too. On the rice and beans and everything, I put like a piece of tape and wrote when we bought it. On the dry goods like that, I put when we bought it. And the canned goods, I put when it expires. So that way I know we're not going to miss anything. And in the process of all the stuff that we were buying, things that it would suck to have, hey Francine, it would suck to have a hurricane right now. Can you imagine having people with COVID-19 and trying to shove thousands of people into emergency shelters on top of each other? How do you do that? And Ron DeSantis wouldn't fucking close the state down. And he exempted churches because he's a religious asshole. So yeah. GOP, it worked for you, trying to kill you off. Fuck. And okay. Disclosure, for those of you who aren't familiar with me, who haven't heard this before, I have nothing against religions. Okay? I have problems with the institution of religion. and the business of religion, the people who are in it for the money and stuff, like that stupid pastor here in Tampa who they fucking arrested because he insisted he was gonna stay open. Well, you know why he stayed open? Because he needed people to fill the tithing plate. Because the fucker doesn't have a good online, tithing system set up. I'm sure he figures that people aren't going to tithe if they're not there in person, because he wants to guilt trip them into putting money in the plate. Plus, you get the peer pressure of sticking money in the plate. So, because he's got pictures of this guy's fucking house and he lived up in Hernando County apparently, and the guy's got a freaking mansion. I'm sorry, but when I was growing up, I was a member of the Methodist Church right down the road. The church provided the parsonage for the guy to live in. Very modest little house. Not bad. Nothing, we'd been there because I was in the youth group and the choir, so they would always do cookouts because it was on a lake. So the preacher would do cookouts and stuff for people usually a couple of times a year. Nothing wrong with it at all. But you got these fucking McMansion asshole preachers living in. I'm sorry. The reason why they don't want to close their churches down is because they've got bills to pay. They want that sweet dollar coming in. I'm sorry. How is that serving your flock? That has nothing to do with religion. That's being a grifter. Fuckers. And I'm sorry, if you're stupid enough to go to church right now, to go to a church, karma's going to fucking hit you for that. I hope you remember how important it was for you to go to church. I saw one interview, CNN, that was up in Ohio. They interviewed the one why she went into church. She said, "Oh, I'm washed in the blood of Christ." Well, I hope that's a comfort to you when your family fucking dies because you give them COVID-19, lady. Assholes. And again, for those of you who are late to this is allergies. We've been dealing with seasonal allergies here because everything was fucking yellow from tree pollen, tree spooge. Non-consensually tree spooged. And it finally rained last night, but I deal with this in the mornings. So I'm not sick. I don't have COVID-19 or anything. Haven't been exposed as far as I know. But yeah, I deal with this every morning while the overnight, the phlegm that clears itself out. That's the other reason I'm drinking coffee, is because the warmth helps with that. But yeah, Holly, exactly. I consider myself a pagan eclectic solitary witch, and pagan in the old sense of the term, meaning not Jewish, not Islamic, not Christian, and other. So that's a non-neo-pagan. But yeah, so if you, I remember my Bible from when I was growing up, and it said, and I can't remember which apostle it was. It said, where 2 or 3 are gathered in my name, I am there, or something like that. So you don't need to be in a fucking church building to worship. So if you're insisting on going to fucking church right now, you're an asshole. That's it. You're an asshole. You're not a Christian. Or whatever you claim to be. You're an asshole. Because the CDC said you shouldn't be in groups of 10 or more. And it probably should be even less than that. The fewer amount of people because you're not just exposing yourself. What if you catch it? They're saying something like 50% of people are asymptomatic. So what if you're spreading it to other people and you don't even know it? Because you were, shoulder to shoulder with people all praying to God. And what happens if you go to church and you give it to your parents, or you give it to your kids and they die? Is that going to be a comfort to you that you're washed in the blood of Christ? And another thing, this is not a fucking curse from God or something of Pat Robertson and his bullshit, all those fuckers. If you're stupid enough to believe that, this is a curse from God, well, I'm sorry, you're an idiot. You should turn in your voter ID card, because you have no business voting if you can't use your critical brain. You should go live every morning. This is me actually reasonably calm. I don't think people want me live every morning. Trust me. Yeah, I probably make a lot of enemies that way, more than I already have. I don't tolerate bullshit well. I don't suffer idiots very well either. But yeah, I don't understand it. Even, the Methodist Church where my mom still goes, they closed down. They're like, yeah, stay home. She teaches Sunday school there for adults, and they're like, yeah, close down. We're not going to do services. I'm like, fucking A. Hey, all right. Yay. Good for them. Yeah, that was it. Pat Robertson said, oral sex, the chemical that crushes from women. Fuck. Your limited group. Well, groups of 2 is good too. Unless you got like a family of 5 people living in the same house, then that would be kind of problematic. But, they didn't have oral sex. Was it Pat Robertson said, they didn't have oral sex when I was a kid. Well, fucking shit, they didn't. Just because you're having a crappy sex life doesn't mean the rest of us aren't. Assholes. I have no patience for people. I really don't. And so for those of you who haven't followed me for a long time, years ago when I first registered to vote, when I was 18, I registered GOP, but I always have voted socially liberal. I have not, because my philosophy then and now is that you can fix the financial parts. You can't fix the social and the civil liberties and stuff once they're eroded away. And I left the GOP years and years and years ago. Even before I left the GOP, I was always voting liberal. I didn't vote party line. I would vote whoever I thought the best candidate was. And so I just, I don't necessarily agree with everything that the Democrats want to do. I damn sure don't agree with pretty much everything the Republicans want to do anymore, because the party has been taken over by the neo-right and the evangelicals and the amosexuals, and I'm not against gun rights. I'm a gun owner. I have a concealed carry permit, but we need reasonable background checks. We need ammo limits. We need certain types of weapons to only be able to be, we have a full automatic weapon licensing system, so why not for some other certain types of weapons? The Supreme Court's already ruled that, yeah, you can legislate, because a well-regulated militia, those are the first, that's the starting of the Second Amendment, a well-regulated militia. So, fuck yeah, we need more regulations. Fuck, I'm a gun owner and I think that. But, so yeah, the GOP is basically, and all these people kissing Trump's ass. I'm sorry, if you're a Trump voter, I'm going to call you out on that. All these people kissing Trump's ass, this fucker obviously doesn't know what the fuck he's doing. He's a narcissist. All of us that scream, this is the kind of shit that can happen when you got a fucking narcissist running the country. Well, look at here. I was not a fan of Jeb Bush. Not a fan of his. Did not vote for him. But here's the thing. When he was governor of Florida, he could fucking run a hurricane. If somebody like Jeb Bush had I would not have voted for him either for this. I voted for Hillary. If Jeb Bush had made it all the way through and we wouldn't be in this position right now. We might still have some crappy shit going on elsewhere, but Jeb Bush had a fucking emergency. There's several other Republicans probably, if they'd gotten in, we wouldn't be in this position right now. But here's the problem. You got a narcissistic, racist, fucking idiotic, dumbass game show host in the Oval Office, because some people are like, oh, well, he's a businessman. Fuck. Oh, yeah, sure, let's hire the idiotic, racist, draft-dodging game show host to be our president. What could possibly go wrong? Fuck. So, yeah. Happy Monday. Yeah, and it doesn't have to be this way. It really doesn't. So I hope people, and also for all of you that say, well, I didn't vote because both parties are equally bad. Really? Do you think they're equally bad now? Butter emails, am I right? Fuck. If you didn't vote because, I couldn't bring myself to vote for Hillary. I couldn't vote for Trump, but I couldn't bring myself to vote for Hillary. Well, thanks. You helped contribute. You really did. There was one reader who was really pissed off at me. I guess she's still probably pissed off at me. I get messages from people going, well, so-and-so's ranting about that you called her an idiot. And I don't remember specifically calling her an idiot, but I said, if you did a protest vote and didn't vote, you contributed to where we are now. Or if you didn't vote at all and you were registered to vote, you contributed to where we are now. Because there was a very small margin in some of the states, and if more people had voted for Hillary Clinton, we wouldn't be in this mess right now. It's pretty bad when George W., who I was not a fan of George W., let's be honest. But even he, back in 2005, was saying that, you got to be prepared for pandemics. And basically, most of Trump's administration, between grifting and enriching himself, has been trying to undo all the shit Obama did. Like, oh, let's close down the pandemic office. Because that's a great idea. Sure, let's do that. And now they're all like covering their asses because here's what they thought. They thought, that'll never happen. Then when it started happening overseas, they're like, I guarantee you part of our problem, if when people start digging, is they're probably going to find that companies, this is my supposition, is that companies that handle PPE stuff and everything, somehow all these things are getting diverted overseas before we even realized it. And it was enriching, I'm sure, holdings that the Kushners and the Trumps all have their little fingers in. I guarantee you that's going to be something that they find out when they start doing the all the forensic accounting and shit on the other side of this, as long as we haven't all died by then. Guarantee you that's what's going to happen. Be found out. And then they didn't think. You know, it's already been said by plenty of people that Trump, and he's a narcissist, so I believe this, that he only thinks in terms of day to day. He doesn't think ahead. He's not capable of it. It's a narcissist. So here's the thing. Everybody says, oh, you know, he's took a more somber tone. Maybe he's finally getting it. No, he's a narcissist. He doesn't get it. If you've never dealt with a narcissist before, and I have, if you've never dealt with a narcissist before, it is unfathomable that they will keep doing all this. It's like, well, it's like he chooses the word, you know, when given all these options, he chooses the worst option possible. Why is that? Because he chooses the option that in the moment makes him either feel and or look good. It serves to gratify his instant needs. That's why he's getting out and doing all these daily things. He can't get out and do the rallies and get the immediate feedback from the crowds, you know, and he's a narcissist. He needs that feedback. So that's why he's doing that shit. You know, everything he does has been and he thinks he's bullshitted his way through life. So he thinks he can bullshit his way through this. And no, he can't. Yeah. It's like, fuck. So this is why voting in November is very fucking important. And this is why, and it's not just national, local. This is why you have to find out who are your county commissioners, who are your city commissioners, if you're within inside a municipality or township or whatever your thing is. School board choices. That's another one these assholes start off in sometimes, is they get in the school board and then they start wanting to do this. It's at every level. You need to know who your state reps are. You need to know who your state senators are. You need to know who your U.S. congressional and Senate reps are. You need to know all this stuff. Because if you don't know and vote and interact with these people, they need feedback, because they need to start getting pushback. Because even some of these GOP assholes, the ones that are kind of like secretly horrified, but they're too chicken shit to stand up to them, if they start getting enough pushback from the people in their districts, they are going to go, hey, well, you know, maybe I better stand up and start, you know, pushing back a little bit, because the people in my district are getting fucking pissed off at me. You have to get vocal. You need to look up these numbers and have them on fucking speed dial. You need to use the resist bot feature. They've got an instant message feature now, or you can do the text feature, and it'll help you send emails and calls and faxes and stuff. So you need to know all this. You need to leave voicemails for them. You've got to get involved. You know, even if it's just to start sending nasty emails saying, hey, knock this shit off, stand up to him. You know, you are supposed to be representing us. You know, and because sunlight is the best disinfectant. And these people have been existing for a couple of decades now in the shadows with donors and stuff. You know, we had Citizens United, and there's a couple other rulings that really allowed, you know, these corporate, you know, sponsors and PACs and stuff and lobbyists to really get in there and start basically buying our politicians. And if you say, oh, well, you know, I don't follow politics, it's too depressing. Well, that's a lot of fucking privilege you got, because the rest of us really can't afford to just sit on our asses and do the heavy lifting. You know, it's one of those things, we need everybody involved so that the load is shared and it's easier. And these fuckers understand in mass that we're pissed off. We are fucking pissed off that they've been letting people, you know, buy our government, basically. Yeah, I can't stand listening to Trump, because I end up screaming at the TV whenever he's on. I end up turning it off, and I follow a bunch of people on Twitter that parse down what he said and all the lies that he tells and facts check him. That's another thing. They shouldn't be allowing him. I mean, he just lies blatantly. And if you basically are a Fox News viewer and you believe all of his bullshit, then how the hell did you end up on my page? Have you met me? Have you seen what I write? I'm very liberal. I am definitely not a Fox viewer. So I don't know how you ended up on my page, but welcome. Did you finally stop drinking the Kool-Aid? Well, yay, good for you. If you did. I mean, how many more people are going to have to fucking die in this country? Because this asshole is like, yeah, FEMA now's been, you know, since when? You know, Jared Kushner, oh, this is our stockpile, it's not for the states. What the fuck? What are we fucking paying taxes for then if it's not our stockpile? Motherfucker. Little creepy ass funeral director Jared Kushner. Fuck him. You know? I mean, basically he was raised by a grifter. Yeah, if you didn't know it, by the way, Jared's father did time in jail. You know, Chris Christie put him in fucking jail when he was the prosecutor, which is why Chris Christie didn't end up in the transition team. Not that I'm a fan of Chris Christie, but at least he had a fucking brain in his head. You know? So, yeah, that's why, because Kushner was like, oh, no, Chris Christie can't be in this because, you know, he put my dad in jail. You know, how many people around Trump have gone to jail? Oh, but Benghazi. Oh, Benghazi. Oh, my God, Benghazi. But her emails. Right? Am I right?
And now these fuckers are going, oh, well, old people should be glad to die to open up the economy sooner. What the actual fuck? I don't think so. No. If all you GOP fucks are so happy to go sacrificing people, why don't you go out and sacrifice yourselves for it? The rest of us will sit at home and then we'll be able to vote in November to vote your fucking asses out. I mean, Trump even admitted that if we had like a vote by mail, that Republicans would never get elected again. Well, fuck yeah, because there wouldn't be barriers to voting. And Trump himself has even voted by mail before. He's used absentee ballots to vote. So, fuck him. Yeah, in Australia, you get fined if you don't go fucking vote. We need to make it easier for people to vote. And notice that most of the voter fraud that's perpetuated that people get arrested for are Republicans. Oh, wow. Where did Rudy go lately? I actually saw a report, New York Times, I think it was, yesterday, said he's been lobbying for one of these pharmaceutical companies or something about the malaria drug. And by the way, okay, don't go fucking to your doctor saying, oh, give me this drug that Trump's been talking about. Don't fucking do that shit, because people with lupus and autoimmune disease need that shit, right? You know? Sorry, I had to take the bathrobe off and starting to get warm. I mean, don't do this stupid shit. I mean, you're gonna take medical advice from a racist game show host who doesn't fucking know what the fuck he's talking about anyway. He's so far out of his league right now. See, you're witnessing a narcissist in a full-on scramble to try to save what little bit of his ego he can. And remember, he's only got something like 33% of the people who voted, not of all voters, but of who voted. You know, and he lost to Hillary Clinton, the popular vote, by 3 million votes. So, yeah, let's get rid of the Electoral College, by the way, while we're at it. Besides, it was a racist institution to start with, because the white landowners were afraid that black people would get the right to vote and be able to vote their asses out. So, yeah, we need to get rid of the Electoral College ASAP. That's the other thing. So here's what we need to do. I'm sorry I verged into politics here, but this is what you get when you get me on the first thing on a Monday morning. Citizens United and all those other bills need to go, allowing dark money into the political process. Political campaigns need to be limited to a certain amount of money, period. That's all you can spend, boom, done. Shouldn't be able to buy commercials, either video or audio. Boom. There's other countries that don't allow you to do that. So right there, that eliminates a lot of the problem. We need term limits on the U.S. Senate and the U.S. House, and we also need term limits for SCOTUS, because that's the other thing that Mitch McConnell has been, pinwheeling around here, is trying to cram judge and district judges. There should be no lifetime appointments for judges. That's bullshit. I can see maybe doing a 10-year or a 6-year limit, so that it kind of overlaps, the presidential term limits. But we need those term limits. Let's see. We need to, what else? Those are the biggies right there. They would help a lot. And we also need to stop disenfranchising voters. We need to make it, easier to vote. Because fuck this shit. It's just, this is what happens when you don't vote. And all the people going, oh, this is not the time to politicize it. Fuck that. The people who are saying this is not the time to politicize it are the people that are directly responsible or indirectly responsible for the position that we are in right now. Fuck yeah, it's the time to politicize it. It's just like every time there's a gun violence incident, you'll have the Second Amendment rights people going, oh, this is not the time to politicize a tragedy. Fuck that. If we don't politicize it now while it's fresh in everybody's mind, the next shiny object distraction will happen and people will forget. So yeah, it absolutely is, because otherwise more people are going to die. And look what's happening. This is what everybody was saying. What happens if we have a horrible disaster while Trump is in charge? Well, now you know. Did he cause the virus? No. Is he directly responsible for the deaths of thousands and possibly tens of thousands and hundreds of thousands of people? Yes, he is. Absolutely. Because he's incompetent and he refuses to just hand over the reins to people who could do stuff. Jared Kushner, what is his training? Since when is he a fucking doctor? I don't know Andrew Cuomo, how he is normally. I've heard mixed reports about him before all of this, but just like with Jeb, at least he's fucking handling this shit. I mean, God bless him. I don't know if I would ever vote for him for president or not, but at least he's digging in for this, I mean, or seems to be. I mean, somebody correct me if I'm wrong, if he is being a real shit show and he's just making him look good on MSNBC in the press conferences and everything. So yeah, in Florida, Ron DeSantis, fuck our governor, fuck him sideways, fuck. Ron DeSantis, if you ever see this, you're a fucking asshole for not closing down our state sooner. and for allowing the churches to stay open. You know, if you're too chicken shit to specifically state about the, and for overriding the local municipalities' abilities to shut shit down, you're a double asshole for that. So if you were really such chicken shit, you were worried about the evangelical voters, then you do this. You say no more than 10 people allowed, 10 non-related people allowed to gather at a time, period. And then you don't have to shut down the churches. They'll have to shut down by default. You could have done that, but no, you're a chicken shit asshole. Evangelical chicken shit asshole. And all of you assholes who think that this is some plague from God, fuck you. Fuck you. God gave us doctors for a fucking reason. Jesus is telling you to keep your ass at home. You know? It's like, fuck. It's like that cockatoo, that one about the Peach Malacca and cockatoo where the guy like crushes the cage and the bird's going, fuck this, fuck you, fuck that, fuck you, fuck you, fuck you. That is my inner... That bird is like me, my personality. Fuck you, fuck this, fuck that, fuck you. That's how I feel most days right now. But yeah. And all you assholes who came here on spring break, you know, fuck you. Fuck that little asshole kid that was like, oh, if I get coronavirus, I get it. You know, I guess heard later he apologized on Instagram or something. Well, yeah, fuck you, kid. Fuck you. Well, the beaches, he didn't close down the beaches, Rhonda. That was the thing, is he should have immediately ordered. Some of the local municipalities closed down beaches, but the problem is, like, if you go over to, like, say over in Pinellas County, you've got a bunch of little municipalities on the different barrier islands. Like, you've got Indian Rocks Beach, you've got, you know, is it Longboat Key or is that down south? Well, anyway, you've got Clearwater Beach, they're all different municipalities. So technically they have control over whether or not their particular beach is closed. And so I guess some of them were afraid if they closed down one beach, it would send more of an influx up to some of the other beaches, because it's all basically one long fucking beach. So they were worried about that. So Ron DeSantis should have basically said, yeah, no more mass gatherings. If you're not they could have done what they do in hurricanes and said, if you're not a state resident, go home. Because that's what they do, like, especially in the Keys. Like, if they have to do an evacuation, they'll evacuate tourists. They'll say all tourists need to leave. You know, and yeah, it's an economic hit. But fuck, I mean, we've got a huge preponderance. And here's what's the even stupider, ironic thing is, because a lot of older people will vote GOP, right? So who's one of the most vulnerable populations? Elderly, like up at the villages. Those people up there, you know, it's starting to go through them. Well, he's basically wiping out his own voter demographic. Well, there's irony for you. Too bad it costs lives, because people drink the Fox Kool-Aid. Those Fox. There should be some massive fucking lawsuits about that too, by the way. People should be suing Fox News and the Murdoch family for allowing their on-air personalities to say all the bullshit they did when this was all, you know, coming down. I'm sorry. But if you're worried more about your ad dollars and shit than you are human lives, you don't deserve a voice on international TV. You just don't. Don't. Excuse me while I drink more coffee. By the way, this is me and Omega. No, my hair's all a mess and everything, yeah. Anyway. Oh, the kid did get the virus. Oh, well, you know, I'm not happy that he got the virus. And by the way, I am never happy if somebody gets the virus. Like Boris, what's his face over in Britain. I'm not happy he got sick. I'm never happy that somebody got sick. But you know what? Karma's a bitch, right? I'm just saying, karma's a fucking bitch. You know, as my grandmother used to say, Granny would go, buzzards come home to roost. So, yeah, I guess that buzzard's roosting now, ain't he? Yeah, I'm just at the zero fucks given point now of this, because I'm like, fuck. They just made a whole bunch of political activists by doing all this bullshit that they did. So, yeah. So let me talk about books for a few minutes, since I actually am an author. By the way, I listed the box sets for Governor Trilogy, Determination Trilogy, and Devastation Trilogy are back up and running. They're $9.99 each. And on the Governor Trilogy one, you only get books 1 through 3. You don't get 4 or 5. Book 4, Yes, Governor, is available individually. You can buy it. It's been out for a while. Book 5, Pet, is available for pre-order. It's not coming until November. And then, of course, you know, Determination Trilogy and Devastation Trilogy. And yes, I'm working on Incisive, trying to get it, you know, the editing and stuff done on it. I may end up having to bump the release dates on the Devout Trilogy. I haven't decided yet. And Deviant Trilogy, of course, I've I hadn't had it on pre-order yet on Amazon. So here's the thing: when you do stuff on pre-order on Amazon, if you blow a pre-order totally, then you lose the ability to do pre-orders for a year. And they finally did do a thing where they allow you to change the date once. So I'm holding off on that, but I may have to delay things a little bit because there's a fucking pandemic. I had to do a lot more shit than I was used to having to go do. But I am working on all that. I'm trying to get everything caught up. I'm just fucking tired. I'm just really fucking tired. What else? Sidaj is out. And, by the way, I would greatly appreciate reviews for Sidaj on Amazon, especially if you can. I would greatly appreciate and I'm looking for honest reviews. If you hated it, that's fine. Put that. And just in case anybody's not aware, and I did clarify the page that I guess I had a reader say that they weren't aware. They thought it was a male series, and here I dropped a male-female book into the series. It's the series is not a male series. The series is actually going to have multiple different types of romantic permutations in it. It just happened to be the first two books were basically, well, technically they weren't male, they were male/non-binary, because the secondary main characters were non-binary, not male. So yeah, they're intersex non-binary. So yeah, they're aliens. So yeah, so just to clarify that. But yeah, I would greatly appreciate honest reviews for that. And also her Vampire Obsession. If that one's free in Kindle Unlimited. I don't know if or when it's going to open distribution, but the whole series is on Kindle Unlimited, so that's why it's on Kindle Unlimited. And yes, I'm going to be writing more books set in that world. I had so much fun with that book. That was so much fun. And hopefully Shameless will be going on in November. We'll see. It's too soon to tell, but that's November in Orlando. Hopefully. Again, it's too soon to tell, so we'll see what happens then as we get closer to that date. I'm hoping that one doesn't get canceled. I hope they've got a handle on this, before that time. One more political rant. The anti-vaxxers. How's that not having people vaccinated thing working for you? Because this is what happens when people aren't vaccinated. Herd immunity doesn't help if half the people, are fucking dying. Well, it's not half. It's whatever percentage of people are like dying when they get the shit. We don't know if it's gonna give us immunity after they don't know for sure yet if you can catch it again or not. So yeah, anyway, okay, back to books. Sorry. Squirrel. What else I was going to talk about something else and now I don't remember what it was. This is what happens when I ramble before I've had 2 full cups of coffee. I don't know. I don't remember what I was going to say now. I need to get back to doing podcasting. I kind of got away from that. I started and got away from it, and I need to start doing that again. And I'm going to do some more readings of some excerpts, like I did the other day with her Vampire Obsession. If you missed that, if you go onto my website or in my YouTube channel, either one, I posted the. I think it was yesterday, I posted a copy of the video. If you didn't see it on Facebook when I originally posted, I read on camera the first chapter from her Vampire Obsession, so you can go check that one out. There was something else I was gonna do, and now I don't remember what. Oh yeah, but I guess some readers didn't know. Yes, Governor, the book 4, that one's out by itself. That was the one that we put in the Doris anthology when she was fighting cancer before we lost her. So that was in that one. And then once we finished with that anthology, I re-released it by itself. So if you got the anthology, you don't need to buy it again because it's there, and there's no new content in the box sets either. So if you already have the individual books, you don't need to buy the box sets. Bleak Shifters, book 7. If you missed that one, Bleak Expectations, that one's out by itself. That one's wide. It was in an anthology. And again, if you bought the anthology, there's no new content in it. So you don't need to rebuy it again if you bought it for the anthology. But yeah, so the book 7 and, well, it's book 6 and 7 are shorter novellas. They're not full-length novels. And if you have book 1 of my Bleak Shifter series, as Leslie Richardson, Bleak's Geek, that one is free. Or it should be free all over. I got to make sure Amazon's still price matching it to free. As far as I know, if you find it and it's not free somewhere, let me know so I can go figure out why. And I can send it, or worse comes worse, you can always grab it from Smashwords. It's free there, and you can get it in different formats there. What else? What else? What else? What else? Yes, I'm working on more Suncoast Society books, by the way. Oh, thank you, Siv. I appreciate that. Thank you. I am working on more Suncoast Society books, but here's the thing. For so long, I suppressed all these other books, and focused on Suncoast Society because I needed to, honestly, I needed the money. I still need the money, but when Jailmates took off, so it just like exploded. I was like, holy crap. And it really finally helped replace that, and kind of allowed me to breathe. And like all these other characters were like, write us now. So like, okay. So now I'm basically bringing you all the books that have been sitting and vegetating and fermenting in my brain for years while I focused on Suncoast Society. And I've got, and this means I can actually bring you better Suncoast Society books now because they can be longer. I can take my time with them versus trying to, meet deadlines and trying to get them out so fast and having to, make them a little bit shorter so I can write them faster. And be able to really delve into, and I've had some books I've been kind of putting off not doing because they're heavier books in the Suncoast Society. So now I can actually get those done and out. And I am picking away at those, and Triple Trouble books. I'm working on those because, and it's not, I'm working on the next 2 books in that series, but I'm also trying to finish up the rest of the books in the Good Will Ghost Hunting, the Brimstone Vampire series. Because when I get I'm going to do all of those at once, so they're all done, and then submit them all at once to Siren, and that way they've got them boom in one big, and then they can schedule them, so hopefully like every other week, kaboom, 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 once I get those done. And no, I don't have a timetable on those yet. I'm working on, because I keep changing shit. That's the other thing, is now it's like I actually have the luxury of like going through and going, oh wait, no, this would be better. This is what we should do, and go back and change it. Characters, listen to me, because usually my first draft, the characters are telling me everything. And then as I go through my second drafts, I can go, okay, this needs to get changed. This isn't working, things like that. Placida Pod. Yes, there will be more Placida Pod because they're kind of tied up in that whole thing. They've got a few more stories in them too, and they kind of travel in and out amongst the Triple Trouble and Good Will Ghost Hunting and all of those books. So yeah, there's going to be more there. Actually, that's a low number, Siv. There's way more. Oh, thank you, Francine. So I use Scrivener to write. And every series has its own project in Scrivener, and then I can just create, a folder for each book. So I literally have one Scrivener project that has nothing but dozens and dozens of different things, from one line of the idea, and I didn't want to lose the idea, all the way up to like several chapters. And even in my like Suncoast Society project, I've got the better part of 12 books that are in various stages of completion there. From a quick synopsis all the way up to of what hit my head, and so I wrote it down so I wouldn't forget it, all the way up to, the better part of a book done, and I'm just letting it sit in gel for a while. Oh, thank you, Holly. I appreciate that. And thank you, Rhonda. Yeah, it is her. My first book, my very first book came out with the Mirror Press in 2008, 8 of 08, when the Beijing Olympics opened. And then my first Siren book came out not too long after that. Came out like I think in November or December of that year. That Love Slave for Two was the first one that came out with Siren. So that was 08. So that's been going on 12 years now. Does my brain ever rest? No. No, it does not. That's the blessing and the curse of anxiety. Oh, the one's nearly finished. Oh, yeah, something. Yeah, the one's nearly finished would be about like that. But anxiety is a harsh mistress when you're a writer. It means I see all the things, always. The different possibilities happening. And it's great for writing, because my brain doesn't shut off. But it sucks when you're trying to like relax and de-stress, because my brain doesn't shut off. It's very difficult, which is, I gotta turn the space heater off in here now. It's starting to get a little warm. Margarita's going to be like, oh. So yeah, the brain doesn't shut off. And that's been one of the bad problems too of everything going on, is because my brain is, I wrote a series about a pandemic, right? And the other thing is, like, one of my works in progress I had kind of been chipping away at for a while. It was actually going to be a whole series, but I had started it back when the H1N1, the avian flu. Oh, thank you, Jennifer. The avian flu it didn't quite pandemic itself, but I actually said it with a flu, and now I'm not sure if I'll ever finish that one. And it was set in Florida, and the woman was a nurse, and her her boyfriend ends up dying, and she goes back home up to the Panhandle, and takes over her parents' place because they, so things had happened. And I'm like, well, fuck. Because the stupid thing is I was like glancing through it the other night, and it was just fucking spooky because basically everything that I wrote is what's happening now, up to a certain point. So I don't know if that one will ever get finished. Now that one may just sit in the trunk now because I don't know, with the pandemic we've got, I don't know if, oh, thank you, Dolly. I appreciate that. And there will be more eventually from the Fierce Radiance group too. I've got some more stuff working with them, with their stuff. I'm trying to think, what else was I going to talk about? Yeah, I've just got a lot of irons in the fire. But the nice thing about self-publishing, and again, nothing against Siren. There's nothing, it's not like I don't hate Siren or anything like that. I still will be submitting books to Siren. It's just right now I've got to get caught up with my brain because I've shoved so much as my, yeah, it might be my vibe. Started writing a pandemic and stuff. Yeah. I've written so much that I suppressed for so long that I didn't write, that I wanted to write, that I knew wasn't in Siren's wheelhouse. Siren writes, publishes a certain type of book. It's just like, I explain it like this. You don't go to a Ford dealership and expect to buy a brand new Kawasaki motorcycle, right? That's not what they sell. You don't go to a bakery and ask for sushi. So now you want to read. Well, what I might end up doing is because I do have a Patron count that I don't use. I've been thinking about doing stuff with it now. So I might actually go start posting chapters of that over on the Patron account, or Patreon, or however you say it. I haven't decided yet what to do with this. It's all kind of, I don't want to be accused of like trying to, publicize, trying to capitalize on a fucking pandemic. But I do have the Drunk Monkey series. That's a complete series as Timber. So if you want to go read my Drunk Monkey series, I do have a pandemic in that one. I say it's like the A-Team meets Mad Max with non-paranormal zombies. There's a pandemic, there's a bat crap crazy religious leader, there's a chicken shit president, there's really hot military guys. It's set a couple hundred years into the future because I didn't want to fuck up the military stuff. So this is why I don't write military stuff, modern military stuff. I mean, in detail. I have characters who were veterans, but I don't write in-depth military stuff because I don't want to fuck it up. It's a lot of fucking research. There's a whole culture there of being in the military, and I don't want to fuck it up and then have readers going, you did it, and everything. And so I just stay away from that, but I get around it in other ways. Yeah, I've noticed there's no cases in North Korea. Oh yeah. I'm just like there's very few cases in Russia. Yeah, I'm sure. Just like there were no cases in West Virginia, right? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, they're just not counting them or texting or testing them. I don't even remember where I was going with that. Sorry. Brain. Oh, brain. We were talking about Crazy Brain. So yeah. Yeah, so my brain doesn't want to shut off. And one of the funny things is, when I've discovered about my fibromyalgia years ago, and I had didn't know what fibromyalgia was back then. And it explained a lot looking back. It explained a lot of things. But then lately there's some writers that I follow on Twitter, and a couple of them were talking about being diagnosed adult ADHD and some of the symptoms. And it's like, I mean, yeah, I do talk fast, but I've always, that was more, I think, a behavior learned, because if you didn't talk fast when I was growing up, you basically didn't get a word in edgewise. So it's something that I learned from an early age. Nobody's talking COVID-19 because they get shot first. Whew, that's dark, but yeah, I wouldn't be shocked. But there's some things, like there was something that somebody mentioned. It was like a sensitivity to certain kinds of light sources, and sensitivity to certain aromas and stuff. Apparently is like one of the lesser known things. And there's some stuff. So I'm like, once we're through this, in fact, I need to call my doctor today. Squirrel. Once we're through all the pandemic and everything, I am thinking about seriously going and getting evaluated to see if maybe I am ADD or ADHD, and I just never do it. So I don't know. Who knows? We'll see. That'll be like follow this, watch this space kind of thing. yeah, I'm supposed to have a doctor's appointment on Thursday to get a prescription refill, but it's something that I've kind of got a little bit of a stockpile of because I don't take all of them the way they're prescribed. Because so with my fibromyalgia, so I have a weird body chemistry. Medicines will stop working on me. I mean, very quickly. If it's something that's not just going to work for me, it'll like boom, it'll stop. I lasted on Lyrica for like 60 days before it would stop working. Cymbalta I was on for a couple of years. I think it stopped working long before I stopped taking it because I started having the bad side effects a few months in. And I wasn't getting all the benefits of it like I was in the beginning. So I actually think it stopped working for me a long time earlier, but I was really hoping it was working. So I kept taking it, which was stupid. I should have tried that to see. But anyway, beside the point. Right now, I'm on the metoprolol, metoprolol, however you say it. That's the hard stuff. I'm on that. I take that twice a day, which I don't need to go visit for that. They can just call that one in. I do a 10 milligram Flexeril at night to help me sleep. And that is written for twice a day. So I only usually take it once a day. Or if I have a really bad fibro flare and I'm in a lot of pain, I'll take an extra one. And it doesn't knock me out. I've got a friend who's like, her husband, it knocked him out for like 13 hours when he took one. And I took one before I drove over to visit him. This was a while back. And she's like, you took one before you drove? I'm like, yeah. She's like, how did you do that? I'm like, well, I'll take one before I leave here and head back home because my back was all fucked up then. She's like, what? How are you vertical? I'm like, because I'm a trained professional. But when I've had to have anesthesia for like my back surgery and when my son was born through C-section, it took way more on me. And I'm not a redhead. That's the funny thing is like, I know sometimes redheads they have to use more, and I'm not a redhead. So that's the weird thing. And then I have the Xanax that I take at night. So I take the Xanax and the Flexeril, but he wrote the Xanax that I could take it up to 4 times a day as needed. So sometimes I do, but I don't always. I usually don't take 4 a day. It's the 0.5 milligram. It's the like second to lowest dose. So it's not like a huge amount, but the Xanax, you have to go in. It's a state law. I don't know. That's why I got to call them today and see, I'm going to see if they can do telemed because they do actually have telemed now at their office, but I don't know if that's one of the ones that I can do through telemed or if it's still, if the requirement has been waived to actually appear because of the Flexeril or the Xanax, with our state laws, I guess, it's now in one of the schedules where you actually have to appear in the physician's office to get a handwritten prescription. They can't just phone it in. So I don't know. We'll see. If not, I'm just going to say we're going to delay the appointment till like June because I've got plenty to get me through, at night. Because I really do not want to go in my doctor's office at all. I would rather, not. I would rather not go to the doctor's office unless I think, like my gallbladder is about to rot and fall out, or I think I've got an appendicitis or something, or I can't move, or I'm like coughing up blood or something. I really do not want to go into a doctor's office at all right now. I want to go nowhere near one. I mean, I love my doctor, but yeah, not that much. I must just sacrifice myself going in with, all this crap going around. So that's going to be one of my tasks today to do is to call my doctor, and see. So, what else? Oh, we signed up for, cause we've got 5 cats and a dog and a Sheldon and a bird. We signed up for Chewy.com. If you don't know Chewy.com, it's a pet supply online. Now, when we signed up, we had a $15 coupon. They gave us when we signed up. So if you have pets and you need pet food, go in there, and their prices are actually nothing against PetSmart, but their prices were every bit as good. We get free delivery, auto ship. It was just as good as what we were buying the stuff on, directly in PetSmart. So Liz would know if she has symptoms of COVID because she's always exactly. That's it. Like the other night after I washed the cats, I was like, oh my God, I'm like, oh shit, I've got body aches and pains and they're weird places. And I'm like, oh wait, I bathed 5 cats and a dog today while I was kneeling on the floor next to the tub and leaning over the tub. So of course my rib hurts where I was leaning against the tub, and it took me a minute to not freak out. So yeah, I'm in pain so much. How would I know? And my body temperature always runs low. My blood pressure always runs low because of my fibro. So it's one of those things like I saw it's like, well, sometimes the fever is actually you have a low body temperature. And I'm like, well, I always have a low body temperature. So how would I know? But anyway, totally lost that thought where I was going with that too. You can tell I'm not awake. Ouch. Where was I going with that? I don't even remember where I was going with that now. Oh, hubby's wandering around outside. Oh, he's looking at plants. And Sheldon's back by the door. I hear him scratching at the door. You're not going outside, Sheldon. Sorry. Oh, thanks, Dolly. Love you guys too. Let's see. There's something else I was going to say. Chewy. Yeah, that's it. I was talking about Chewy. So anyway, we get Luna's wet food because she's the only one that really gets wet food. We get her wet food through Chewy now. We get the cat litter through Chewy. And I already was getting the dog and cat food through Amazon, and we've got plenty of that stocked up. So we're good with that. But yeah, so yeah, if you've never heard of Chewy.com before, oh, they are owned by PetSmart. Oh, good. Well, then I don't feel so guilty then about taking, about going to Chewy instead of the local PetSmart. But you know, before, see, one of the things is before hubby was doing all the errands and everything. So he would literally go out like every other day. You go to Publix, you go to Walgreens, you go to PetSmart and everything. And I told him, I said, no, you're not doing that. And I try, when I do errands, I like do one round of errands as much as I can, and then I'm done. I don't like to have to keep going, especially now. So that's kind of been an adjustment for him, bless his heart. Like literally yesterday when I let him ride around with me, it was like the first day he'd been out of the, off the property in like 3 weeks. So, but, oh, and can we talk about how freaky fucking creepy it is now that in Tampa, I can make it from Tampa or from my house in Hillsborough County over to Brandon, across literally from one side of the county to the other in 30 minutes. That's fucking creepy, because a drive that should take me, even on the interstate, should take me the better part of an hour, even during non-rush hour traffic, takes me 30 minutes door to door right now. So it's like, fuck. I mean, it's great, but fuck, it's creepy. It's really fucking spooky being able to, hop on 275 and, right there by the Howard Franklin Bridge and going east towards I-4. And like, there usually is like a little bit of a log jam there because everybody's merging in and stuff. And it's like, oh yeah, I always have an ongoing shopping list. Yeah, that always happens. But it's weird that a drive that should take me the better part of an hour or longer, if it was rush hour traffic, it would probably take me an hour and a half. It takes me 30 fucking minutes. It's like, wow, I'm going to be spoiled. Because the Viking was over in Brandon. So yeah, it's really fucking spooky going through downtown Tampa, and there's like no backups whatsoever at all. It's very creepy. I mean, it's weird and creepy. So yeah. But it's good because it means people are staying home. So, which I know it sucks for people who've lost their jobs. Hubby's trying to file unemployment for losing the freelance gig because he was making $500-600 a month, which, that's not going to kill our budget, but it's not helping it. We feel it. So he's trying to file for unemployment with that. Can't get on the state system. Cannot get on it. Thank you, former Governor Rick Scott, now Senator Rick Scott, who also was a perpetrator of one of the biggest Medicare frauds, in history through one of the companies he used to run. Thank you, Rick Scott. Thank you for being an asshole and trying to make it as hard as possible because they wanted to artificially deflate our unemployment numbers. Rick Scott wanted to look like Florida unemployment was low. But yeah, of course it's going to look low if you've got people who can't get on the fucking system to file for it. So, yeah, I usually I have to fill like once a week, and I think I've filled it like once in the past 3 weeks. And can we talk about how, okay, again, creepy good, the fact that gas is like 181, the lowest octane is 181 around here. That's like, I haven't seen that in years. It's like, fuck, that's spooky. Fuck. I mean, good, but spooky. Anyway, so I've rambled long enough. I don't know how long I've been rambling on here actually, but thank you for listening to me ramble and drink coffee and stuff. So, please buy my books, timberdalton.com, timber with a Y, or lesliericardson.com, which goes to the same website. Leslie with an I, no E on the end. And Leslie is my real name. So, yeah, it's not, if you're like, why did you pick that pen name? Like, cause I was born with it. And now I can write under that. The Timber Dalton name is contractually obligated to Siren. So, anything that I self-publish, I have to do as Leslie, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And again, I'm still going to be submitting books to Siren. So I just need to get through these backlog of books that I'd kind of kept in and not used forever or not written in ever. And yeah, so I'm getting, my brain's like, yay, we can write what we want to. Which is good because it helps keep me from getting burned out. So, but there are more Suncoast Society books coming. There's more, like I said, I want to get the Triple Trouble one. That one, I want to get all those series wrapped up at once and then submit all the books at once to Siren. So, yeah, I'm working on it. I'm trying. And The Great Turning 3. Oh my God, I've ripped that book apart several times. That's one of the banes of being self-published is like, I do have that luxury now. I can rip shit apart and put it back together. And every time I see something I don't like, I'm like, "Arr." The editor's about to kill me on that book. Because every time I pull it out of the queue, it bumps it further because I can't just say, oh, drop everything and work on this book again. No, they've got other shit that they're editing too. So when I pull something, if they weren't such a good friend of mine, they probably would have scalped me by now. For my hair out. Oh, no, I'm sorry. I shouldn't have said scalp. Sorry. That was bad. They would have killed me by now. Yeah. This is how tired I am, as I'm not thinking straight here. Anyway, so I'm going to have some more coffee. I'm going to finish this cup and, go write and do some stuff. So yes, please find my books and please review. That's the other thing is if you've had books and you like, there's no budget, you have no budget right now. I would greatly appreciate if you are the reviewing kind, I would greatly, in just honest reviews. I'm not even saying, oh, give me all 5-star. If you didn't like a book, I get it. Not every book is for every reader. I would appreciate if you didn't attack me personally as an author, attack the book on its own merits. But you can just say, I love this book. The characters were great, the settings were realistic, the writing was good, whatever. Or if you didn't like it, say, this part didn't work for me. That part didn't work for me. I liked the book up until the hero made a choice I disagreed with and things like that. So it's fine if you don't like a book. That's fine. That's, hey, not every book is for every reader. And I understand and I just appreciate the only thing I require of my readers is that you attain my book legally. That's it. I don't care if you check it out from the library because my Leslie Richardson book should be available through Overdrive and Hoopla because I think I've got them all set up to do that now. So you should be able to get those now. My Siren books, you won't probably be able. I don't think they use Overdrive and Hoopla, and I can't do anything about that, unfortunately. I'm sorry because that's a Siren thing. They handle that. But my Leslie Richardson books should be available through Overdrive and Hoopla. If you buy them in print or you buy them in ebook, as long as you're not downloading them for free off of pirate sites. If there's something for free, it'll be on my website. I'll have a link to it that it's free. So if you see it free anywhere else, then that's an illegal book. And beware that those sites like that, they usually are pirate sites or they're phishing sites, or sometimes they'll sell books. And I'm not getting any of that money. All my legal buy links are through my website. So if you start at my website and find a link for something that works for you, then you're not getting a pirated copy of a book. And yeah. So, but I appreciate you guys legally obtaining my books. That helps me out. People say, well, would it be better if we bought them from like Amazon or so-and-so or Siren or whatever? And it's like, as long as you legally obtain it, I honestly, whatever is easiest for you, as long as it's legal, that's all I care about. And just because something's for free on the internet doesn't mean it's public domain. It means some asshole put it up there for piracy. Free, legal books, you can go like Project Gutenberg, or there was another one and I can't remember the name of it now that's like Project Gutenberg, but they format their books a little bit better. Amazon's always got free books if you go to their best-selling thing, or I actually have a link on my website in the right-hand column, or if you scroll to, if you're on a phone or something, scroll all the way down to the bottom so you see the toolbar down there. It's a link. It's like free, legal free ebooks, something like that. And I have an article, permanent article on my website where you can go, how you can link into the Amazon listing of free books. Let's see, what else? Oh, and for audiobooks, if you get my audiobooks off of YouTube, you're an asshole because those are not legal. Audible, iTunes, what's the other one? Audible, or Amazon, if it's through an Amazon, I think it used to be called ACX. Yeah. There's, if you get an audiobook like that, you pay, but if you get a free audiobook of mine off of YouTube, it's illegal. It's not a legal copy. So please don't do that. Because those people are fucking assholes. So anyway, so thanks for tuning in. I appreciate it. I'm going to go work. I'm going to go to the bathroom first because it makes some more coffee and then I'm going to go work. So maybe next time I do this, I'll actually have like makeup on, but this is my, me and my little, my Starry Stormtrooper t-shirt. So thank you all for watching. I greatly appreciate it. I'll check in with you later. Bye. Stay safe and stay well too, by the way. Bye.